Most people never hear this truth early enough, and by the time they do, years have already slipped through their hands. They spend so much time thinking, planning, preparing, imagining, convincing themselves that one day everything would line up perfectly. But life doesn't work on perfect timing. Life moves on action, and the painful part is this: life keeps moving whether you act or not. Time doesn't pause because you're unsure. Opportunities don't wait because you're afraid. The clock doesn't care about your potential. It only records what you did with the time you were given. You were never meant to just understand life. You were meant to engage with it. But intelligence tricks people. It gives them a false sense of progress. They feel productive because they're thinking deeply, analyzing every angle, predicting every outcome. But thinking without movement is just procrastination wearing a suit. It feels sophisticated, but it produces nothing. And nothing is exactly what life gives back in return. Execution is the great separator. It's the line between people who talk about change and people who become it. The moment you execute, you step into uncertainty. You leave the safety of ideas and enter the chaos of reality. And that's where fear lives. That's why execution feels heavy. That's why it feels risky. That's why it feels lonely. Because once you move, you can't hide anymore. You can't pretend. You can't say someday you are exposed to results. And results are honest. Here's something most people don't want to accept. Life doesn't know you understand it. It owes you feedback. When you execute, life gives you feedback. Sometimes it's success. Sometimes it's failure. But both are information. Both are progress. The only real loss is standing still. The only true failure is never entering the arena. Because when you don't execute, you don't even earn feedback. You just earn regret. People say they're waiting for confidence, but confidence is not a prerequisite. Confidence is a byproduct. You don't become confident and then act. You act, survive the discomfort, and confidence grows quietly inside you. Every executed action, no matter how small, tells your nervous system, I can handle this. And over time, that belief compounds. Not from words, from evidence. Execution forces discipline. Intelligence can coexist with laziness, but execution cannot. You can be smart and still inconsistent. You can be talented and still distracted. Execution doesn't care how gifted you are. It demands repetition. It demands standards. It demands that you show up even when the feeling isn't there, especially when the feeling isn't there, because feelings are unreliable. Standards are not. Most people confuse being busy with being effective. They fill their days with motion so they don't have to face the emptiness of real progress. Twister wanna be so can gain your stinks stins, with your stinks to change your strangers. But execution is selective. It says no to distractions. It says no to comfort. It says no to everything that doesn't move the needle. And that discipline feels suffocating at first because comfort has been running your life for years. But comfort is expensive. It costs you your future slowly, quietly, without drama. Execution humbles you in a way intelligence never will. When you execute, you realize how much you don't know. And instead of being discouraged, you become adaptable. You stop needing to look smart. You start needing to get better. Ego dies in execution. Growth begins there. And growth is never loud. It's quiet, repetitive, uncelebrated. Until one day, results speak for you. The world respects movement. People respond to those who are already in motion. Opportunities appear once you've committed, not before. Most people wait for clarity before they move, but clarity is created by movement. You don't discover who you are by thinking about it. You discover who you are by doing difficult things and observing how you respond. Action reveals identity, not intention. Execution teaches you resilience. When you fail after executing, you learn that failure didn't kill you, and that lesson is priceless. You stop fearing outcomes and start trusting your ability to adapt. You realize that pain is temporary, but regret compounds. And once you understand that, discomfort loses its power over you. It becomes a tool instead of a threat. There is a moment every person faces, usually alone, usually unnoticed, where they either choose to act or choose to delay. No applause, no audience, just a quiet decision. Those moments stack, and eventually they become a life. People think success is built in big moments. It's not. It's built in small, unsexy decisions made consistently over time. Execution is boring before it's brilliant, lonely before it's respected, invisible before it's undeniable. Most people want certainty before commitment, but certainty is a myth. The people you admire didn't know how it would turn out. They just knew they couldn't stay where they were. They moved with incomplete information. They learned by doing, they adjusted by failing, and they grew by continuing. Execution is faith in motion, not blind faith. Earned faith, the kind that develops when you've seen yourself survive hard things. Execution removes the luxury of excuses. Once you act, you can't blame circumstances as easily. You start taking responsibility, and responsibility is heavy, but it's empowering. Because once you own your actions, you also own your outcomes. Victimhood feels lighter in the moment, but it keeps you trapped. Responsibility feels heavier, but it gives you control. You don't need to feel inspired to execute. Inspiration fades. Execution doesn't wait. The most powerful days of your life will not be the days you felt amazing. They will be the days you showed up anyway. The days you acted while tired. The days you moved forward without applause. The days you kept going while doubting yourself. Those are the days that quietly change your trajectory. Execution sharpens hunger. The more you act, the more you realize what's possible. Your standards rise. Your tolerance for mediocrity drops. You stop negotiating with your weaker self. You stop romanticizing ease. You start respecting effort. And that internal shift is visible. People feel it. They may not understand it, but they respond to it. Life is not impressed by ideas. It is impressed by persistence. It does not reward thinking. It rewards follow through. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not intelligence. It is action taken consistently over time. And that gap closes only when you stop waiting and start executing. Execution is not heroic. It's practical. It's choosing progress over comfort again and again. It's understanding that no one is coming to save you, and that realization doesn't break you, it frees you. Because once you stop waiting for rescue, you start building. Most people don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because they don't stay in the game long enough. Execution keeps you in the game. Even when results are slow, even when growth is invisible, even when doubt is loud. And staying in the game is how winning becomes inevitable. Execution changes how you see time. You stop wasting it. You stop assuming you have more. You realize that days are currency, and every day you don't act, you spend it on nothing. That awareness creates urgency, not panic. Purposeful urgency. The kind that makes you move now instead of someday. And once execution becomes who you are, not something you try to do, life responds differently. Not because it's easier, but because you're no longer asking for permission. You're no longer waiting for conditions to improve. You become the condition.